In the countryside, people did not abandon the beliefs of their honored ancestors at the whim of rulers in distant Beijing, nor did they behave in a way that might draw their government's wrath. The underground Catholics of China bent like the willows in the wind, but they did not break. After distributing the bread of the Eucharist, Yin offered the wine, reenacting a ritual that originated with the Passover Seder Jesus shared with his closest friends on the eve of his crucifixion. The simple act brought Yin and his congregants into communion with 1 billion other Roman Catholics around the world and with God. Yin had prayed in beautiful churches, but nowhere did he feel closer to the Creator than with those clinging to their faith against immense hardship. It was in ministering to his endangered flock that Yin truly fulfilled his calling as a priest and became, in the words of St. Francis of Assisi, a channel of Christ's peace. "This is the blood of Christ," Yin said reverently as he offered the glass to a boy just old enough to make his first communion. The boy bowed his head respectfully and replied, "Amen," but barely allowed the scorching liquid to touch his lips. Yin suppressed a smile. As Yin took the glass from the boy, he heard a metallic sound, the bolts on a heavy door pulling open. It was a sound he knew well, but not from this place. "Wake up, old man," a voice barked. Light flooded in, and the sacramental scene faded, erased from his mind's eye by the intrusion. In an instant, the clandestine mass withdrew into his precious trove of memories. Yin was sitting in the middle of a bare 2-meter square cell, surrounded on all sides by concrete. Legs crossed and hands palmed down on his knees, he sat as erect and serene as Buddha. Only hints remained of the lustrous black hair of his youth, scattered threads in a mane whitened by age and hardship. Whiter still was his skin, bleached a ghostly shade by decades denied the warm light of the sun. A thick steel door and a small air vent were the only suggestion of a world outside the cell. In a tamper-proof fixture recessed into the ceiling, a lone dim bulb provided nearly the only illumination to reach Yin's eyes in 30 years. He had long ago lost all sense of day and night, and of the larger passages of time, temporal disorientation being but one of the techniques employed against prisoners like Yin. "I said wake up!" The guard punctuated his command by jabbing the end of an electrified baton into Yin's abdomen. Yin exhaled sharply at the explosion of pain and toppled backward, careful not to strike his head against the floor. "I am awake, my son," Yin panted softly, regaining his breath. "I'd rather be the offspring of a pig farmer and his ugliest sow than any son of yours," the guard spat back. "Get up!" Yin rubbed his stomach and squinted at the bright light pouring in from the corridor. His tormentor was a dark silhouette, and beyond the doorway stood several more guards. The Chinese court had sentenced Yin to death for his many crimes against the state, an order not yet carried out for political reasons. The authorities recognized Yin as a man of great charisma and deep personal faith, a combination that could spread his foreign religion like a plague were he placed with the prison's general population. So unlike most prisoners in the laogai, the gulags of China, Yin was not permitted the opportunity to reform himself through the state's generous program of hard labor and re-education. Instead, he was subjected to lengthy periods of isolation, punctuated by beatings and interrogations. Yin knew it had been weeks, possibly months, since his last interrogation. The same questions were asked every time, and always he provided the same answers. The brutal sessions came far less frequently now than in the early years of his incarceration, more a task on a bureaucratic checklist than any genuine attempt at reform. After years of systematic effort, the Chinese government seemed to accept the fact that the underground Bishop of Shanghai would die before renouncing the Pope or the Church of Rome. Yin rose to his feet and awaited the next command. "Out!" the guard barked. Yin followed as the guard backed through the door. Compared with the dimness of his cell, the light in the corridor burned his eyes.